Why is there no Earth card in the major arcana of the tarot? This is a question that people who have delved into tarot deeply will contemplate, and I can explain to you the reason why, at least from my perspective, from my study, and I've studied the tarot for over 30 years now. Now, just let me explain to you a little bit about what I mean by that there's no Earth card in the tarot. So, in the major arcana, I'm talking about specifically because there is Earth in the minor arcana. The major arcana are the 22 special cards, and in the original version of tarot, which was a card game, these 22 additional cards were considered the trump, dedicated trump cards. So if you know games like hearts or spades that are trick taking games, you'll know that a particular suit is designated as the trump suit. And those are the most powerful cards, and you can win by playing those. In the game of tarot, the 22 major arcana cards were dedicated trumps. So those would be played as powerful cards to win hands. I'm not going to go into the details of it and there's different variations, but eventually the 22 major arcana cards came to be associated with esoteric concepts, and it fit really well. And there are people that believe that it was encoded into the tarot intentionally from the beginning and that it was disguised as a game from the start. But that's speculation. What we do know is that through the use of tarot as a divination system and as a magical tool for occult work, the 22 major arcana cards became associated with archetypal symbols and energies within occultism, in particular, the Western esoteric tradition. Now, within the 22 cards of the major arcana, you have 3 cards that are elements, and these form the 3 principal elements of water, fire, and air. You have 7 cards that represent planets, and these are the 7 planets of classical astrology. You also have 12 cards that represent the 12 signs of the zodiac. And if you add that up, 3 plus 7 plus 12, you get your 22 major arcana cards. But if we look at the elements, there's no earth card in the major arcana. There's only 3. There's water, fire, and air, as I just mentioned. And I'll show you them. So the Hanged Man card, and this is Crowley's Thoth deck. The Hanged Man card is water. In Crowley's deck they call it the Aeon, and this is also known as Judgment in most traditional decks. And this card is fire. You also have the Fool card, and the Fool card is a representation of the element of air. And now, if you understand alchemy, you'll understand why there's only these 3. Because in alchemy, you have the 3 principal elements, and these are the pure components of every manifest thing in the universe. And they come together in different variations of qualities and quantities. And when they come together naturally, they form the 4th element of earth. Now, in alchemy, what we do as alchemists is that we take that earth and we break it back down into a chaos of the 3 principal elements that we had just discussed: water, fire, and air. We separate out each one, and purify them individually, then recombine the purified principal elements together to resurrect that original earth, that original fourth element. But because this process of refinement and purification causes them to bind together much more powerfully, and it's almost like a crystallization. If you compare a non-crystallized substance to the same substance but crystallized, you'll see that there are emergent properties. There are powers, you could say, virtues that become manifest that weren't in the original non-crystallized version of it. You could think of it that as an analogy. So when we put that back together, that resurrected earth is of such a different quality than the original earth that it was in its natural form before going through the alchemical process. It's so new and so different from the original that we refer to it as the fifth element, which is the literal meaning of quintessence. So quintessence is the fifth element. Now, technically, earth, the fourth element, and quintessence, the fifth element, are derivative elements. They are composed of those three principal elements combined in different ways. And so you don't have a card in the Major Arcana specifically for Earth or for Quintessence for that matter. You have the three principal elements that, when combined, form either Earth or, in their refined state, combined to create Quintessence. And so you don't actually need a card for Earth or for Quintessence because they're inherent in these three principal elements. These are the building blocks to create that Earth or to create that Quintessence. Now, one thing that we do see in traditional tarot work, divination, magic, etc., is that sometimes people will use the universe card, also sometimes referred to as the world card. And that is utilized as a stand-in for Earth sometimes. Now, the reason for this being potentially because of the obvious, the universe, the world, there's a natural connection there to Earth, the element Earth, right? But also because the universe card is one of those planetary cards. Remember, I mentioned at the beginning there's 7 cards that represent planets of classical astrology. This is one of those 7, and it's the one that represents Saturn. Now, Saturn is the force of restriction, even death, you could say sometimes, and limitation or focus, you could say. And it's also associated with the cube, the black cube. You may have heard of this. And that is a symbol of the physical universe, which has a direct connection to Earth, the element of Earth. And that is why that is a stand-in for Earth, or one of the various reasons. Another reason, besides the name connecting with Earth, and besides Saturn being the nature of Saturn itself, has a strong connection to that physical universe and the element of Earth idea. Also, if we look at Saturn, it is the 7th planet out from a terracentric viewpoint. If we look out from Earth into the cosmos, the ancients calculated out which of the 7 planets of classical astrology would be closest if you think of it in concentric circles around the Earth. And they also thought of them almost like heavenly spheres, right? And if we think of Earth as the base, and then we go up 7, then that's if we were to call Earth number 1, or let's call Earth 0, okay? And then the moon would be 1, Mercury would be 2, Venus would be 3, etc., all the way up to Saturn, which would be 7. And if we think of that, if we think of the music of the spheres, you may have heard of this term before, the music of the spheres, this this music that's created by the movement of the celestial bodies in the universe, in the cosmos, that we can't hear normally with our human ears, but sometimes the doors of perception open up in such a way where we can hear the music of the spheres, this harmony of these celestial bodies moving around in perfect harmony. Now, if we think of each one as a note, including the Earth, then Saturn would be the same note as Earth, but 1 octave higher. If you understand music theory, hopefully this makes sense to you. Earth being here, and then you go 7 steps up. That would be like the 8th note. If you hit Earth as a note on the piano, say, and go, then do 7 more on top of that. If you started at C, for example, then you'd be at C again when you hit. If Earth was C, Saturn would be C as well, but a higher octave. So you could think of this card as like a higher octave version of Earth. So it's the same note musically, but again, a higher octave. So those are a few reasons why this card, the universe in Crowley's Thoth deck, that's one of the reasons why. Those are actually 3 reasons, because of the name, the universe, or sometimes the world. The idea of Saturn being deeply related to the physical universe itself in general, and the idea of the music of the spheres and Saturn being the same note as Earth, except a higher octave. All those things are reasons why the universe card gets used as a stand-in for Earth, if that is needed, if that energy, if people want to represent that type of energy. Now, the other thing you could do is you could just use these 3 cards, the 3 principal elements, and just put them together and use that pile of cards as Earth if you wanted to. Or you could lay them out in a specific pattern that makes sense. One of the things that I like to do if I wanted to represent Quintessence is to overlap them in such a way that they form a triangle with each of them having one on top and the other below. Kind of like how when you fold a box closed, you have each flap, one side of it is above the next flap and the other one is below. I hope you understand what I mean. But to take that with 3 cards and put them in a triangular shape where they're kind of interweaving with each other. And I use that as like a way to represent the crystallization of the quintessence, or the manifestation of that harmonic or harmonious connection between the 3 principal elements to manifest that. So there's different ways you can go about it. I just wanted to share these ideas with you and to let you know the structure of the tarot, how that um, how that connects with the core symbols of the Western esoteric tradition, the elements, the planets, and the signs of the zodiac are embedded within the 22 cards of the Major Arcana, and why there's no Earth card, and why there's no Quintessence card, and the deep connection that exists there between that reasoning and alchemy, and how alchemy can help you understand that idea of the three principal elements combining to create the fourth, and being refined and combined to create the fifth element. I hope that gave you some food for thought. If you want to delve more into the tarot, I do have a course that's available, a video course that consists of, I think, about 7 hours of material. And it goes into the history of tarot, it goes into the structure of a deck, the order, the sequence of cards, and some of the changes that have occurred over time in the standard structure of a tarot, and how to use it in divination, the connection with regular playing cards, and how you could use regular playing cards to do a cartomancy divination, as well as how to take it even further than divination, how to use tarot in magic, tarot magic. And it gets quite in depth, actually, by the end of the course. There are 4 main video lessons, and in total about 7 hours worth. And you can get access to that for $5 USD. And that will give you unlimited access to that course for just $5, and you can look at it and view the material for a full month. Now, not only does it give you access to just that course, but it gives you access to all of the courses that are available on the noviceordoluciferii.org website. And not only that, but it gets you access, unlimited access for a full month to all of the inner teachings and practices of the Novus Ordo Luciferi. That's an esoteric order that teaches Luciferian alchemy. So this is actually the membership dues of the order, the esoteric order. And it gets you access instantly to all of the courses. There are, I think right now, there are about 13 or 14 courses that are video based that are available on the website. You get instant access to that when you join. And there are over 40 hours worth of video lessons embedded within the modules of those 13 or 14 courses that are currently available on the website and growing. Another one is lucid dreaming and astral projection. Another one is ritual magic and ceremonial magic. And it goes quite in depth into a lot of these subjects. The lucid dreaming astral projection course, for example, is 8 hours worth of material, and it gets really advanced. It starts from very beginning to some of the most advanced material that you'll find on that subject, and very practical as well. Practical how to do it. So you get instant access to all of those courses, as well as the written documents that are teachings and practices of the order. You will get access to the private Discord server for members of the Novus Ordo Luciferi. You will get access to our regular or frequent online meetups or meetings that are done via video conferencing software. Though most of those are casual hangouts where you get to spend an hour or 2 hours or so, quite often, connecting with other members of the order, with me. You can ask questions. You can share what's been going on. You can do troubleshoot if you're working on a particular skill or going through one of the courses. You can say, I've been doing this lucid dreaming course, but I can't quite seem to develop my dream recall, or whatever it happens to be, whatever challenges you're facing, you can bring it to the group and we can help you through it. Some of those meetings are formal lessons, formal workshops or presentations that is teaching you something. And those courses are taught live and you can access those, but they're recorded. And then that recording gets turned into another course that gets offered on the website that you can access, that you can unlock by joining. And you join through the Patreon, which is patreon.com/Novus Ordo Luciferi. And these links will be in the description. And like I said, it's only $5 a month to get access to all of that material, access to the private Discord server where members can freely communicate with one another. You get access to the meetings, the live taught lessons, and which later get added to the back catalog of available courses that you can take at your own speed. And yeah, it's an incredible value if I do say so myself. And I hope that you'll consider taking your practice to the next level and participating in the Novus Ordo Luciferi with us. And if you have any questions about tarot, about lucid dreaming, or about any of these things, about Luciferianism in general, and these courses aren't just useful for Luciferians. These courses are teaching you the fundamentals of occultism, and not just Western occultism, but there's a lot of material in there that is Eastern as well. We have a course on I Ching reading. It's a very in-depth walkthrough of an I Ching, how to do an I Ching reading using coins, and I believe it's over 2 hours long. It gets really in depth. And there is energy work material, which is heavily inspired by Taoist internal alchemy practices. And there's a full walkthrough video as well as written documents on how to perform these energy work practices that are adapted and inspired. Some of them are inspired by Taoist internal alchemy, Eastern practices, and that sort of thing. So it's a fusion of all of this in the modern world. And like I said, I'm very excited about it, and I hope that you will decide to participate in that with us. And like I said, the links are in the description. If you have any questions, don't hesitate to ask. Leave some comments in this video. Also, if you are just interested in getting a tarot reading from me, we can go in depth, and there's a link as well for if you'd like to get a tarot reading from me directly. And we'll have a one-on-one session through a video chat, and I'll do a reading for you depending on which option you choose. We can do the Crowley Thoth deck. I've got it's over here. The Hermetic Tarot is another one that I really like to use. We can even do cartomancy with regular playing cards if you like that. I can do I Ching with you if you'd like, or we can even just chat about things. I can teach you one-on-one occult practices. There's a link in the description below for that as well. So I hope you'll explore what we have to offer with the Novus Ordo Luciferi, as well as me personally. And until next time, everyone, stay lucid.